Hey film friends, I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film. Welcome to the channel. So you're telling me Jodie Comer is doing radical voice work and Tom Hardy is still sort of channeling gravelly Al Capone, and Austin Butler is standing there looking tall as he portrays an iconic 50s and 60s pinup model. These are all brand new things. But you stick them inside a hangout flick in the halcyon days of the American Midwest with a signature director's stylistic flashes, now we're talking. It's Goodfellas for motorcycle clubs. Only not. This is Jeff Nichols, the Bikeriders. So the story begins when a long time ago the director gets handed a book by his brother. It's about an outlaw motorcycle club in the 1960s. In fact, it's really more of a photo book of Danny Lyon's trek around the Midwest with one biker gang. A scrapbook of images with terse quotes from the men inside all around them. And if this isn't a one-sentence descriptor of what the Bikeriders is at its core, I don't know what is. Of course, Nichols spent a long time developing an original but fictitious story from these raw materials. In his hands, what is essentially a travelogue became a character study about three people and a lot of their friends. A blue-collar founder of a social club, his wild child right-hand man, and the tenacious wife on the outside looking in. A love triangle of sorts between a man seeking to groom his successor and a woman who's trying to pull him into a better life. And, you know, the man in the middle who just does whatever he pleases. But there are richer themes going on inside the Bikeriders too. I just talked about it. It's like Nichols is probing at the myth of the 60s man, the image or reputation of a person versus the reality. He's at least attempting to interrogate masculinity and the idea of being cool. I mean, the film actually gets pretty damn forthright about this. Hardy is literally watching Brando in The Wild One when he comes up for the idea of the Vandals MC. Butler is shot and staged in such a way that he's really just doing James Dean. This is a movie of supposedly strong, silent men, full of dead-eyed stares and pregnant pauses, leaving us to fight to decipher what's going on inside their heads. What we kind of learned through Nichols' grimy lens is that there was no perfect mythical American male. Just some dudes trying to belong who could really use a counselor. And even the club itself evolves over time, from some beer-drinking 60s old-timers to a new generation of post-Vietnam druggies and grass lovers. All institutions seem to crumble and dilute themselves as they codify. That's a powerful sentence. You should think about that. Now, I said the Bikeriders works when it does because of its power as a study of characters. This is only believable in a film with great performances. Fortunately, this one has it in spades. First, there's Tom Hardy stripping away any costumes or masks or crazy voice acting, mostly, and just playing a pretty quiet man. Jodie Comer takes a major swing with her accent work, but I think she nails it, especially as she, along with Damon Harriman as Brucey, is really the soul of the film. Then there's Austin Butler. He's the one selling the myth. Few words, iconic images, making smoking look cool. Alongside these is a total bevy of great character actors like Boyd Holbrook and Emery Cohen and the great Norman Reedus. Surround it all with a dad rock soundtrack for the ages, and it's a solid hang for 2 hours. Well, look, I just said it. This is a hangout movie. With any flick like this, the question becomes, how much do you like hanging out with these characters? But I think the deeper thought nagging me is whether this was the intention of the film from the start, or if it became kind of a come along for the ride work because Nichols just didn't have enough of an original story to tell. The film works as a surface exploration of this entire milieu of bike riding and colors and youth trying to join up, and on a deeper level as a study of these three people. But it's not breaking new ground on any of this. In fact, the storytelling development is kind of anemic. I think it's also worth looking into the movie's framing device. The Bikeriders is really episodic. It's this way because Comer's character is talking to Mike Feist's photographer about the evolution and changes in the group over time. So we're cutting out of these past flashbacks into this coffee and sit dialogue between the two of them. For me, I think this mostly worked, especially since Comer is so captivating. But I could see some feeling that the back and forth interplay stalls some of the momentum of the film. What I find almost miraculous is that Comer, in many ways the centerpiece of the picture, gets all the dialogue and none of the inner life. In fact, we know very little about any of these people outside the walls of the Vandals. Also, I've already said it, but the movie is playing with the Austin Butler mythos. You know, the tall, quiet, smoldering presence, the man of few words. Do you buy that? Are you in on the Butler narrative that Hollywood has been peddling since Elvis? Where you land on this will determine how effective you find this story. And I'll just say, for me personally, I'm not totally there. Finally, yeah, this film started and I went, oh, I'm watching Goodfellas. Freeze frame, narrator voiceover, it's a deliberate homage to Marty. But by the end I was asking, what's the bow on top? What's the concluding larger statement of these characters' journey? Is it simply Hardy's words to Kathy? You can give everything you got to a thing and it's still gonna do what it's gonna do. All institutions eventually fold. Entropy comes for us all. Okay, fair enough. For me then, the Bikeriders roars out of the gate with its world building and characters, and then stalls with not much narrative thrust the longer it plays. So, what do we conclude? The Bikeriders is a compelling character study set against the gritty backdrop of the Vandals motorcycle club in the 60s Midwest, with standout performances from Jodie Comer, Tom Hardy, and Austin Butler. The film explores themes of masculinity, identity, and belonging through a trio of method acting stalwarts. While it may not break new ground plot-wise, Jeff Nichols' direction brings a unique stylistic flair, and the charisma of its stars and a gang of great supporting parts provide a thoughtful exploration of its world. I was a boy, had a mind of my own. Well, there you have it. The only thing left to discuss is our rating for this picture. FOF gives the Bikeriders 4 out of 5 stars. If you enjoyed this review, please let us know by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Also, don't forget to visit FurmanOnFilm.com for even more movie content. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film. Stay firm, my friends.